Okay, so hello. Hope you guys are doing well. This is the first of several, or we'll see how it goes, AP Hug videos. By now you probably heard that the AP test changed, and we'll talk about that tomorrow when I see everybody on Zoom. Tomorrow morning at 9, which is Tuesday the 24th. And when I do these YouTube videos, this is where I'm going to do actual teaching. The Zoom thing, it doesn't work that well. My Wi-Fi is a little bit how can I say, crappy. So, I'm going to check in with you Zoom, and, you'll see it's real laggy, and I got cut off earlier today. But anyway, so the main way I'm going to try to teach you the last part of this AP Hug stuff is through these videos. And, you can pause them, you can enjoy them for many years to come. So there you are. Let's start with the good news. The AP exam, the College Board decided they're going to give you a choice of 2 days to take any AP test, your choice, and it's going to be, every test is going to be 45 minutes long total. So we don't know what the format is yet. They're not going to let us know until April 3rd. But it looks like, each subject's going to have a 45-minute test. So the other good news is they're going to cut off the last 25% of the class. So that means we're pretty much done. We just have to cover the ever-exciting political geography and my favorite, farming, otherwise known as agricultural geography. So yeah, excited to get that in there. So and these aren't real tough. We covered the most important stuff already, and I'll be posting review stuff on the website. So hopefully you're checking the website. There's a lot of things on there. I don't know exactly what the AP test is going to look like, but we'll talk about that later. Okay, so let's go ahead and go through Unit 3, which is going to be our last unit, and we got to start with political geography. And I pre-filled this page out. This page is available on a website. If you go to the website, you'll see I believe this little button there. It says AP Hug Review or AP Hug Unit 3 or something like that. Okay, all right, so you can read some of this on your own. I want to start with nation state versus nation. It's a very common mistake. Nation is just a group of people. So, like, unfortunately, there's a group called Raider Nation, right? Raider fans, yay. And that doesn't mean much. A nation is just a group of people. A nation state is what we should be saying. Sometimes people say country, but nation state is actually the better term. And that there's two things for every nation state. There's boundaries and there's sovereignty. You remember sovereignty from Comp Gov, remember that with George W. Sovereignty is just what it is. It's when people are sovereign. You can, maybe I'll post that video later. Okay, and so sovereignty is on your page there. It's the right to control what goes on in your country. So you need boundaries or borders. A lot of times we use the word border, and you need sovereignty to be a nation state. Okay, a couple other small definitions, more vocab. Multinational states that people have. That doesn't refer to the borders. It refers to who lives in the country. And the stateless nation are people that don't have their own country. And the Kurds, which are located in between, are actually parts of Turkey and Iraq, and they've been in the news lately because of what the president did with that. So a lot of people believe that the Kurds weren't treated well by us lately, and they don't have their own country. All right, let's talk about boundaries. I know you guys are excited about that. All right, so boundaries, in other words, called frontier. It's like Frontierland and Disneyland. It's basically a borderland. I know what you're thinking. Not the same one that Trump talks about, but Frontierland is, like an outpost on the border. So another word for frontier, another word for boundary is a border. And a lot of this is not too tough. There are physical boundaries or borders, things like mountains, rivers, and lakes. That's probably very common throughout the world. I'm not sure if it's the most common. I think geometric is probably even more common. By the way, it's called Law of the Sea. It's a 1983 law. It says that every country, every nation state, has the right for 12 miles outside the coast to claim that it's their water. Problem is, it has to do with islands. So, for example, if you go 12 miles off of Lunada Bay, that's probably in international waters. But what about Catalina Island? Where does that start? So if you look at the charts, geographers have made it so you can actually be in international waters not too far away from the coast. So if you've never left the country, you can get into a boat and row 12 miles and say, look, I left the country. Cultural boundaries are borders. They're not actual real borders or boundaries. They're things that, like regions. So, for example, the Middle East. You could probably draw a line around where the Middle East is. That's not a real border. Okay? Geometric boundaries are lines on a map, often random, especially in post-colonial countries like Nigeria. We'll talk about that in Common Cloud. And geometric boundaries are usually somebody sat down with a pencil on a map and they drew a border. Causes problems because, which we're going to talk about disputes in a minute here. Alright, let's take a deep breath here. Alright, that was good. Okay, moving on. Boundary disputes. So people sometimes don't like their borders. They dispute them. Hence the term boundary disputes. Alright, positional disputes. People argue where the border actually is. Now you think, well, that's kind of common sense, right? Just get the map out, there's a line. Well, sometimes the lines change, especially if the lines are river. So if you're into rivers, you'll know that they move. So for example, the border between Mexico and the United States and Arizona, sometimes that line is not always the same length. There's floods, there's a drought, sometimes those lines change a bit, and sometimes people argue, countries argue over the borders. Very common actually. Territorial disputes are when the borders were drawn unclearly in the first place, and a good example of that is India and Pakistan. The Kashmir area. So it's not real clear who decided to get what, and they've been fight over that for many years. We've had that in our history as well. And the Oregon border, which used to include Washington State with Canada, was disputed over until we made a deal with the British. Okay, resource disputes are disputes over things near the border. So it's not really, people respect what the border is, but there's things that they want. For example, oil. Now sometimes the oil areas cover two sides of the border, and then there's arguments on who gets to get that oil, who doesn't. Sometimes you have to compromise, and they'll share the profits. Okay, the fourth and last kind of border dispute is not where the line is, not where the stuff's underneath it, but the problems with the area. Okay, and the best example of that is pollution. So, I'll give an example. In Mexico back in the 1990s, a lot of the sewage from Tijuana was being poorly filtered, put into the ocean. It drifted northward, and people in San Diego were getting hepatitis when they were swimming or surfing. And the U.S. complained. That's a functional dispute. And the United States ended up building a sewage plant on the Mexico side to treat the water, so Americans wouldn't get sick. So that's an example of a functional dispute. Okay, so hopefully you looked at this before I see you guys in the morning. If not, it's okay. But this page is available on the website, and hopefully we'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, hopefully it's going well. Hope everybody's not going crazy with this lockdown. Oh, I have a monkey too, by the way. I'm not sure I'm gonna do the monkey, but that's the monkey. All right, I will talk to you guys soon. All right, good night.